Yes, I do. She sounds good. Real good. Nervous? I'm nervous. Yes, I am. That's a good thing. Reverend Mallory says good to be nervous.
Okay. Good afternoon, and welcome to Ask Elaine. We're just so glad that you're there. You know, because we're here, that it's Wednesday, and I've just got a special guest and just some wonderful information. I want to let y'all know that we are just so grateful to have you there, but you got to call us. We haven't been getting a lot of calls recently. I guess what we've been saying, it's just been so enthralling, so interesting.
That's how it goes.
But we want to hear from you. So our call-in number is 478-250-1444 or 1444.
444 in the hood.
478-250-1444. We're going to say it right.
1444.
Right. And just like that lady said, the views that are expressed here are ours, our views, and not necessarily the views of this station. Although they probably agree with a lot of it. It's our views. How that is. Yes. I hope you feel welcome each Wednesday from 3 to 4. I hope that we are sharing with you information that you find helpful. We want to make sure that what we share with you makes you feel empowered so that you can take a part, and you're welcome to take part, especially in your local government, because we've got a lot of things going on, a lot of folks who are plotting and scheming on Black and brown people. Yeah. So we have got to be on guard. We can't go home and go to sleep. We talked last week about staying woke. We got to stay woke. They told me staying woke was still in vogue. So I'm saying we need to stay woke.
It's a thing today.
Yeah. Okay. We want to thank our sponsors. First of all, we want to express condolences to the families of those who have lost loved ones wherever you are. We just are so sorry, and we express our sincere sympathy to you and your family. We've been there, and we understand, and I know everybody says that, but everybody feels that same pain, that same sense of loss. And what you have to do is celebrate that person that you cared about. You have to celebrate them every day, and you have to make your life a ceremony of that person forever and ever. If you love them, then you do something in their memory, and that helps you to get through it until you can get better, because losing someone you care about is just a horrible thing no matter what. And that brings me to something. We've lost 2 children just recently to a gun. They were shot. And a little precious, beautiful 8-year-old girl, and then just yesterday a 1-year-old. Now, a 1-year-old and 8-year-old, nobody should pass away through gunfire. But an 8-year-old and a 1-year-old, that is so sad, and our heart just bleeds for the families. So you have our sincere condolences, and we're going to continue working with our young people and working with our folks to let them know
just left.
That guns are just guns, and the proliferation of guns and the numbers. We don't need all of these guns. We got enough to kill everybody, and I'm not for taking away your right to protect yourself, but I am against you being able to have a gun and you just carelessly put it down and a baby gets killed or anybody. So hopefully one of these days we can do something on the national level that will filter to the state and local level on gun control, because there are some people getting guns that have no business having them, and there's some people who are stealing guns, breaking in, stealing guns, and then selling them,
and they're trading guns.
And it's awful. Before I get too far into this, because I'll start talking, I talked for an hour last week by myself, but we want to express our thanks to the owners of WDDO, historic WDDO. These gentlemen, Bishop Scott and Apostle Vertice Rozier, are just wonderful, wonderful men of God. And we need to thank them for putting their resources out there to enrich our community, to get the station, and then to allow opportunities for folks like me and former Mayor Pro Tem Tillman and the NAACP and Reverend Randall and others to come on and have a forum. It is wonderful. So we just salute these two. And we just wish them nothing but the best going forward. And we're going to support in whatever way we can. So now our special guest, and we're going to talk about almonds today. Last week we talked about collard greens.
Oh, Lord.
And the health benefits of collard greens. And today we're going to eventually, once we get to talk to our guest, we're going to talk about almonds, the health benefits of almonds, and then if we have time, we'll have a Black History trivia kind of little thing. Let's see who knows about themselves, who knows something about Black folks. A lot of the different things that are electronic here were invented by Black folks. Microphone, cell phone, traffic light,
the lights that
the egg beater, the refrigerator,
ironing board, HVAC unit.
Yes. The lady, there's a Black lady who invented the burglar alarm system.
I didn't know that one. That's a new one.
Burglar alarm. You know, the super soaker.
Oh, Lonnie Johnson, Atlanta, Georgia.
And just a few years ago, he had filed suit. Black guy, y'all. He had filed suit.
Right.
Because this company, one of the toy makers, had taken his super soaker and made billions of dollars off of it. It probably was. And so this man says, that's my super soaker that they have taken and made all this. So he sued them. He finally got billions of dollars. I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago. The suit was finally settled. And he said, y'all take it. Y'all been selling it on. Go ahead, but give me my money. So he got billions of dollars. But this was a Black man, y'all.
Now we have a Black inventor from Macon, Georgia.
Tell us about it. Tell us about
well, his name was Alabama Vest. Alabama Vest actually invented he patented the African invention that we call the kazoo today.
Oh, really?
Oh, my. And it came from the Georgia State Fair. He actually presented it at the Georgia State Fair.
My. Listen, we're on Facebook Live. We're on Visual Radio. These wonderful folks here make it possible for us to be on Facebook Live.
I love it.
So we've got a few people on. Y'all, please share. And please call in. Yeah, because our special guest for today, for the entire hour, is none other than Mr. George Crawley.
Oh, Lord.
And Mr. Crawley is one that I wanted to make sure that I got on the show, because I want to spotlight people who are doing things in the community.
Thank you.
And he has connected himself with and pulled together groups of people, and they have set some goals.
Yes.
And they have been doing some things in making Bibb County. You know, we talk about what government needs to do and what I elected them, they need to do this, that, and the other. Well, as elected officials, we can only do so much.
Right.
I'm not going to last too long out there by myself cleaning up. You know, I won't last that long. But in a group
Yes.
with a bunch of us out there,
Yes.
then we can get an awful lot done. And after all, somebody's putting this trash
Right.
out there in the community.
Yes.
And I'm not coming to your community putting it out there. So somebody in the community is doing it. So we've got to come up with a plan where we help ourselves.
Right. Right.
And then others, we demand of others what our tax money is paid for,
Right.
but we do some things ourselves. So our special guest is Mr. George Crawley.
Hello.
And he has served in a number of positions. If you will, first of all, introduce yourself, tell us about you and the positions that you have held, and then tell us about West Side Neighbors.
Okay. Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. My name is George Crawley. I am a Maconite. I was born actually in Hampton, Virginia, though, but I've grown up here in Macon my entire life. I attended elementary school, high school here, and I attended University of Georgia. I'm an alumni. Go Dogs. I work for.
Boy, I tell you, I'm
I gotta
sitting
get
in
my
meetings
plug.
and folks go Dogs, and
Go
then somebody else
Dogs.
goes
Sick 'em.
go. What's Bumblebee? What is it? Georgia Tech.
Go Hornets.
Go Tech.
Yellow
Go
Jackets.
Oh, go Jackets. And I
Yellow
said,
Jackets.
you know what? I go Savannah State Tigers. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Well, this year we celebrate the 60th anniversary of the integration of the University of Georgia. Thanks to Charlene, Hunter Galton, Hamilton.
Yes.
And I met both. I've had the privilege of meeting both of them. I actually met Charlene Hunter Galt not while I was attending UGA, but while I worked at the Tubman Museum. The Tubman Museum downtown. I worked there as education director for 8 years. I worked for the city of Atlanta for 9 years. I worked in the mayor's office of cultural affairs. I worked for the Office of Recreation, and then I finished up my time working with the Office of Public Works.
Oh my!
So Public Works,
you had a varied background.
Yeah.
But now you're back in Macon, and we're just so happy we can benefit from your skills.
I had to come back. Now I'm gonna tell you why I came back. I came back to Macon because I saw a need. You know, when you're up in Atlanta and you're busy doing all these things, you're attending all these meetings, and you have your shirt and your tie on, and you have the grandmas coming up to you fussing about things that aren't getting done. And I sat there and I looked at this lady and I said, well, golly, you know, I'm doing this work in Asheview Heights, which was one of the first Black neighborhoods established in Atlanta. It's built by Black people for Black people. I actually posted about it today. And I was listening to her complain, and I said, that's my auntie right there. I said, I could be doing the same thing that I'm doing here in Macon and be more effective.
Absolutely.
Because I came home, and coming home and you seeing a street that used to be beautiful and the services aren't there. The people are not getting the services that they need. And so that's how we started. You know, a group of us neighbors came together. Those neighbors being lifelong friends of my family. We grew up together right there 40, 50 years, right here on West Macon, up the street actually on Beach. We came together, and with Aisha Warner-Allen, Sharice Stevens, myself, and a representative from Historic Macon, we came together and we formed West Side Neighbors United. So that actually was February 7th, 2019. And we had that first meeting at Habersham Records and Tapes.
And from that time, you've just hit the ground running. You've had candidate forums, you've had cleanups. The cleanups are the things that I'm most impressed with, because you are identifying spots that really need some attention. And it is very frustrating for a lot of people, especially older people, to remember when the neighborhood looked nice and when they were able to work and keep their property up, and everybody else did too. But now they've got to go past somebody else's trash.
We have to go past mattresses and all types of things. And this didn't really become a problem. No picking on anybody, but until after consolidation.
Well, tell me about it. Tell me about it.
I said that to me seems to be the one linchpin that everyone keeps missing.
Yeah.
That Macon was a beautiful city.
Yeah.
Until we let all the variables come into place of consolidation.
Right.
And it comes down to now you just have trash everywhere, and this service has not really been implemented properly. The service delivery strategy is challenged.
Well, the goal of consolidation was to dilute Black voting strength. That was the main goal.
Oh, that's happening
so if
now.
that is your main goal, it continues.
Yeah.
And if that is your main goal, then the rest of it takes a back seat.
Right.
And a lot of that has been done. And in the rush to put these two governments together and get rid of some Black elected officials, I was one of them. They weren't able to get rid of me.
Well, we're glad we're glad.
Anyway, I know they've had some sleepless nights trying to do that.
Let me tell you something, Miss Lucas. I remember when I first started working downtown. That was 1997. I was in on the conversation then. I was like, what y'all talking about? We trying to get rid of the Lucases. I said, trying to get rid of the Lucases? I said, well, that's not a goal. You as a elected official, or a goal is you as an administrator in government should have. Your job is to do your job.
Yeah. Well, there's some people who don't believe that there's been that all-out push all of these years. And the negative press and all of that. And the good thing about it is, first of all, you can't be scared.
Right.
So my husband and I have never been scared Negroes. We will never be scared Negroes. We get a little nervous about some stuff sometimes, and you don't like to be attacked, but you can't be scared anything if you ever plan to accomplish anything. And then you got to be kind of independent too. You can't go and work for somebody and then they stand over you and tell you what to do all the time. George, we've got some folks who have joined us by Facebook.
Yes,
Pastor Lisa.
Hey, Pastor Lisa Watkins.
Yeah, she says we are so glad to still have that's my sister. Brother George is doing some wonderful work.
Thank
says
you,
Pastor Lisa. And Lisa says, ain't that scared? She's not one either, because she does some excellent work.
Cannot be scared.
Yeah. She says many Black contributions have been made indeed. And she's excited about the show today. And then we have some other people who have said good afternoon and have welcomed our special guest, Mr. George Crawley, who is indeed a mover and shaker and future elected official, as I see it. I really do see. You know what? You have to show me that you are interested before you decide to run. And a lot of people just jump up one day and say, oh, I've always thought of running for office. I want to run. And I've never seen them at a meeting. I've never seen them write a letter. I've never seen them make any comments about anything when there's a problem in the community. I've never seen them offer a solution.
They don't do anything. And, this is one of the things I said to someone that ran for an office this last term, last year. They had run for a county commissioner office seat. And I said, well, did you talk to these people here? Did you talk to Elaine? Did you talk to David? I said, no, I didn't talk to any of them. I said, well, then why are you running? Now, I said, I don't know where you come from, but I come from a time where you honor your respected elders. And so part of that honoring your elders means you talk to everyone before you decide you're going to run, especially if you're going to run for a seat in the Black community. Because I'm going to look at you crossways and sideways. As soon as you walk up to me, because the first thing I'm going to say, have you talked to this person? Have you talked to that person? So if you haven't talked to those people, don't come talking to me.
And it's not so much to get their approval.
No,
it is to simply say, what can you offer? What kind of advice can you offer me? Because when I decided to run, I had worked in voter registration for years and years and had been threatened with being arrested over in Pleasant Hill. We were over there registering door to door. It was illegal. We weren't supposed to be doing it, but we were doing it. We almost got arrested. But there were all these battles and things of a voter registration, and people came to me and asked me if I would run. You want your profile to be one of working in the community and being sincere in it, and people will come to you and say, would you consider doing this? And we will support you. And but I don't want anybody coming to represent me if they haven't shown what they are about.
Well, this is the problem. Also, if when you offer suggestions, they don't want to hear your suggestions.
Oh, no, they know it all.
And so I don't understand that. I say, now, we are an organization, we're organized, and we're sitting down talking to you, and we're asking you, have you talked to these people who are already elected? Have you sat down at a commission meeting? Have you, matter of fact, have you given a contribution to our organization? Because that was one of our big sticklers and how we decided what we were going to decide, in terms of support. We're looking like, well, you've raised 6 figures on your campaign, but I don't see anything that you've given to any organization past Napier Avenue. So why should I give you? Why should I give you my support? Right. It's just that basic. It's just that basic. Show yourself approved. So those are some things that we found very interesting. But we as West Side neighbors have been very excited to be a part of the changes that are taking place in Macon. We started the neighborhood cleanups. We started as an organization dealing with the blight. We had all these blighted houses around my parents' home. There were about 5 houses. The majority of the houses at that time were empty. Right now, we have about 3 to 5 of them, tenants in them. So we started off as an organization dealing with the blight, and we have been successful with monthly cleanup and a monthly Stop the Violence rally. We started those in August. So we're going to continue. We'll start those back up in March. We'll start the Stop the Violence rallies. And we'll also have, at that time, we're also going to have a rally dealing with the issue of voter registration and the issue of the people in the State House trying to suppress our votes. Oh, yeah. We got to, they've got another bill. And we talked last week about some of the bills that the Republicans have introduced. And they're intended to push back against Black and brown and progressive whites who've joined together and voted to not only turn Georgia blue in the presidential race, but also to elect Senators Ossoff and Warnock as senators. And one of the things that they want to do, I understand that Fannie Willis, who is the new district attorney for Fulton County, she has started an inquiry on Donald Trump and his illegal moves to try and take the election from Biden in Georgia. So what one legislator has introduced is a bill where you wouldn't have a local county grand jury hearing if the grand jury would be a statewide grand jury, which means mostly white, one scratching head maybe on there. And that's the way they want to, and it's all in response to the fact that the DA in Fulton County is starting an investigation of Donald Trump and his illegal actions toward our elections in the state. Now, the Republicans have submitted 30 amendments. They've submitted 30 pieces of legislation trying to suppress the vote here in Georgia. Of those, I think it's about 1 or 2 that are really moving forward. On the other end of that, they also, the district attorney's race in Columbia, the district attorney in Augusta is newly African American. Columbia County has now filed a motion to try to pull from the Augusta Judicial Circuit. That's crazy. And then we have craziness all over the state.
Well, but we've got to be aware of it, and maybe we need to just devote one full show to how people are trying to take away your voting rights. We touch on it each show a little bit.
I think we should,
but we need to. We'll do that. Devote in the next couple of weeks. Devote an entire show, because the legislative session is moving on. They'll be there all the rest of this month. In March, maybe a little bit of April, but there comes a point where bills that are going to have a chance of passing have to be acted on, and go over to the other chamber. So they're working as hard as they can, and we've got to be about opposing these things, and we can't be scared.
No.
We can't be scared. We have got to, just like folks call me, you need to call the mayor. You need to call not just your black elected officials, you need to call the white ones too. Many of us vote for all of them.
Right. You have to get everyone involved.
Yeah. Now, let's get back to the work in the community. Tell us generally the area that you're dealing with, the West Side neighbors.
Right now we're targeting Unionville, Napier Heights, Cherokee Heights, Bartlett Crossing. Those are the primary areas we're targeting now.
Mm-hmm.
However, we claim all of Unionville from Eisenhower all the way over to Roth Avenue, Home Avenue, and from I-75 to Edna Place.
Mm-hmm.
When we started having our meetings, we only expected a couple of people to show up, and we ended up with people from all over Macon coming to our meetings. So we tried to make sure we kept the meetings open and extended as far as possible. We've been active off of Houston Avenue. We've been active all over the city. Actually, we've even co-hosted a march early last week. So we've been pretty busy.
Well, I know you'll be happy to know that some of the projects that you have been supportive of or have been mentioned as things that are going to get done. Yes. The new mayor has said that he is going to push for improvements to Rosa Parks Square, and I was real happy because folks said we were going to be fussing and fighting the whole time. I don't have time for that, really. No. If any project that someone puts in place that is good for our community, the cleanups, the targeting of blight, new construction, recreate, all of those things I support and have worked hard for. And I'm not going to oppose those just because I didn't support that person for mayor. If it's on Friday, we're going to be doing putting out there an initiative on mental health.
Okay, yes.
Which is badly needed. So why really would I oppose that?
No, there's no reason to.
No reason I don't have time to just oppose something if I really believe that it's good.
Right.
I don't care who it is that proposes it. If it's good, I'm going to support it. If it's not good, I am going to oppose it, though. So Rosa Parks Square, also Booker T. Washington Center, there's a plan for that. Yes. And so there's just an awful lot that's being put in place and things that we need to know about. And I hope that all of you realize that this program, Ask Elaine, with your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, that this is the place to get that information. And for those who just tuned in, thank you for tuning in to Ask Elaine with your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, and our very special guest, Mr. George Crawley, who's been telling us about himself and about the things that he has been working on with West Side Neighbors. We want to welcome Jeanette Goff, who says George is a good community activist, and then Reverend Randall, who has a show on here, I believe on Tuesday, and she's glad about all of these things that are going on. Patrick Davis, and we need to hear from him. Patrick is a wonderful writer.
Okay.
But Patrick doesn't call us. I think he I don't know what we did to him, but he needs to be calling us. And he says good afternoon to everybody. And Pastor Watson keeps saying honor, respect, and wisdom. And
Thank
we
you,
just
Pastor.
appreciate all of those comments. And those of you, y'all please share this and let everybody know, all of your Facebook friends, that we are on, that Ask Elaine is on, that we're on each Wednesday from 3 until 4. This is your program, and we hope to provide information that's helpful to you. Our special guest, Mr. Crawley, I am so thrilled because when we're Facebook friends, and
Yes.
when I see the post, the historical post,
Yes.
and you show pictures of various things,
Yeah,
that is
that's right.
just so interesting to me.
Thank you. It's fun.
Tell us 2 or 3 very, very interesting things that people ought to know
That
as far
people
as
ought to know
Black history
Black
or
history.
buildings or people.
We have 2 famous architects from here in Macon, and I can't remember one name, but I can't remember the name of Louis Pursley. Louis Pursley, he's a famous African American architect. He worked at Tuskegee University. He designed the first AME church in Athens, Georgia. He designed a AME church down in down in South Georgia, but he also designed the First Baptist Church, I believe I'm correct, in Dublin, Georgia. And at that location, that's the first place that the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King gave his ever spoke publicly. So that's pretty cool. That's a cool fact.
Yeah. That is something. That is something. And the buildings that you spotlight, I see those pictures and the history behind it. A lot of things that are no longer there.
Right.
But used to be there.
Well, the thing is it sort of seems odd that none of our historic African American structures still remain.
They don't survive, do they?
I don't understand how. I mean, a city that is half Black and half white has no.
Well, it's more than half Black. It's like 55%.
Okay,
Black.
So 55%
might
Black.
Be a little bit more.
We don't have any historic African American structures other than the 3 churches downtown, probably. And so
we lost Tremont. That
Tremont.
Just everybody's heart bled over that.
I'm just saying we have allowed a lot of things to happen that should not have happened. I think the most beautiful building, one of the most beautiful buildings, the Amelia Hutchins Library, gorgeous facility. But I did want to name one other African American person that we hadn't thought about. Williams Holmes Borders, one of my folks. Williams Holmes Borders, whose father used to pastor Swift Creek Baptist Church out of Jeffersonville Road, was born on Roy Street. He's born
not far from here.
Yeah, right around the corner, Roy Street, over at Bartlett Crossing. Was born on Roy Street, goes to Atlanta and founds and organizes Wheat Street, the historic Wheat Street Baptist Church on Auburn Avenue, a block down from the Reverend Martin Luther King Sr. pastors at Ebenezer Baptist Church. Wheat Street. So when you watching what is it? What's the movie called? Matter of fact, when you watching Black Panther. And when the spaceship comes down and the brothers killed, that's in Wheat Street Gardens Tower that was organized by our own Williams Holmes Borders. So he had Wheat Street Gardens apartments, he has Wheat Street Towers, and of course he has the Wheat Street Baptist Church. All of that comes from someone from Macon, Georgia. So we have the people here. Even if you're looking today, we have the people here within our community to help us move forward. It's just pushing them forward with the opportunity.
Yeah. That brings me to thinking about the Douglas Theater, which is historic.
Yes.
And which I keep reminding everybody we own. We borrowed money from community development, our entitlement, and we paid it back over time.
Okay.
And we own the Douglas Theater. We need to support
that's a Black structure.
That. Yes.
That's
and then the Tubman Museum, which is one of a kind.
Yes.
In is it in the Southeast or is it over the country?
It's the largest African American museum dedicated to art, history, and culture.
So it is the one.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. All right. Willie Dumas has joined us, and he says,
Pete.
"Good evening, all." He just makes you sick with all of that food that he posts all the time. I just tell him, you just get on my nerves. Last nerve. Okay, let's get this call. Good afternoon, Ask Elaine.
Good afternoon, your favorite coroner. How you
doing? This is
Leon Jones.
Yeah, the legend. How you doing?
Doing great. How are you, Mr. Coroner?
Doing good. I put on Facebook that if people know what anybody know where illegal dumping was, to call me. I paid Wally Assad out my own pocket to pick up this stuff all over Macon. I didn't target one specific area. I just put on Facebook. Anyone know any illegal dumping? Call me. I paid for it out my own pocket. You know, Wally Assad has a crew to do all kind of work like that.
Yeah.
And he hit Lyons Place, both Lyons Place, off of Houston and off Rocky Creek Road. He got some off Mimosa Drive, and so far I hadn't had anybody else call. But anybody know any illegal dumping, call me. I get Wallace ass out to move it. I pay for it out of my own pocket, no tax dollars involved.
Well, that is great of you, and you always do things like that for the community. You provide rides for the drunks, you know, so that they don't get a ticket or go out there and hurt somebody, and you provide gifts for the children during the holidays. I know of those things that you do. When school starts, you're doing the backpacks and school supplies and all of that. So you're just a coroner that's like no other. And we pray for you because your job is so, I just don't know how you do it. And I know you say that you pray.
Yes,
and we're all praying for you too, because that is something. We just finished talking. I've got George Crawley on as my special in-studio guest today.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and we were talking about the babies, the two children, the 8-year-old and the 1-year-old that we lost. And you hate to lose any citizen, anybody to gun fire or whatever, but the babies, I mean, it really
this is carelessness.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I grew up around guns because my late mama was a single parent. She had guns. I didn't dare touch them. But to bring a gun around a child, it just don't make sense.
Yeah.
It just don't make. We all make mistakes. Let me say this right here. I'm not gonna ever throw anybody on the bus because we all fall short of God's expectations.
Right.
That's my upbringing. But to carry a gun around a child, and you're adult, that's a 1-year-old child. Okay, I'm not talking about the 8-year-old, Commissioner. I'm talking about the 1-year-old.
Right.
This is an adult. He was a convicted felon. He didn't have no business with a gun anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had no business. So my next project is to raise money to bury the baby. I raised money last week to get 2 guys cremated. And so I'm going to start on raising money to bury the baby.
Well, we just approved some money. We just approved, Coroner, last night, some additional money for you, for your department, for cremations.
For the body storage, what happened?
Yeah. And so for those folks who are listening, would you please take it upon yourself to join and help the coroner with this fund, just whatever. Now, how can they get the money to you?
Make the check out the Bentley and Sons Funeral Home. No cash. I like to keep a paper trail.
Mm-hmm.
No donation is too small or too large. Bentley and Sons Funeral Home for the funeral service of the baby. I think it's Montarius Brown. I need to correct the spelling. But that's what I'm doing. Me and Lieutenant Cornelius Pendleton, Bibb County Sheriff's Department, he and I are raising money because, I did it last year for the baby that got burned.
I know you did.
The baby got burned on Ada. I mean, I love people. I love Macon. I love my country, but I love Macon. and my late mama taught me to always help people. I didn't deviate too far from my upbringing.
No, you did.
I did deviate a little bit. I don't eat liver or rutabagas.
I'm with you on the rutabagas now, because
Rutabagas
I had to cut that, that big old thick what is it, that oily covering that on the top of on outside of them.
Right.
I would have to take a knife and push down so hard to try and cut the thing. I said, when I get grown, I am not ever fooling with any of these things. And I eat most foods, most vegetables, but that's one thing I love rutabagas, really.
I do. I like
everything my late mama made me eat, Commissioner George.
What's that?
Everything my late mama made me eat as a child, I had to eat it or go hungry. I don't eat now. I do not eat rutabagas, liver, spam, potted meat. Oh wow!
No. I like liver. I like liver.
I'm gonna go get somebody else.
Potted meat is pate.
Yeah,
it's pate.
Y'all have a good evening, George. Thank you for what you're doing, brother.
All right, thank you, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, brother.
All right, you have a good day.
Oh, we didn't get the number. People are asking for the number.
Oh, okay. All right. We will get that number, and I will post it on my Facebook page, and George, you can also post it. All right, we got another call. Good afternoon, ask Elaine.
Yes, good afternoon, Commissioner. This is Jen Jackson. How you doing today?
Doing great. How are you? And we're here with our co-host, Mr. George Crawley.
We're glad to interact with both of you.
Okay.
I was calling in reference to you. I was talking about the blighted homes.
Yes.
And I was thinking about the ones out in Antioch near Davis Temple Church.
Yes, ma'am.
It's like a ghost time out there.
Have you made a list of those houses and turned them in to the county? If you want to just send them to me or send them to, I got to figure out, those lines are so funny with the way our districts are drawn. I don't know exactly where, but I think that's, well, I won't speculate. But anyway, if you would put down the addresses and send them to me, get them to me, then I will turn them in.
Okay. But a lot of the houses don't even have the addresses on them. They just...
Well, just put the block. Put the block, the 400 block of so-and-so street or whatever it is. And people can't miss these blight. They can't miss the blight. They'll see it.
Right. I know. I mean, it's awful out there, especially Antioch Heights, Ada Street.
Mm-hmm.
Those, I mean, it's just awful. But anyway, I'll send that to you, Commissioner. I appreciate it so much.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in to Ask Elaine.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye. You have a good day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, sometimes if you put your phone on Google, when you drive down the streets, it'll show you the addresses.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So if you're going down the street, they'll show you the addresses.
Dr. Mary Butler says that Macon is blessed to have Leon Jones on its side, and she is absolutely right. Lisa Watts says Leon Jones is the best ever. Got the Leon Jones fan club on here. That's her big brother. Yes. And we're going to post that number, Shirley Lester. We're going to certainly do that because we do want to bury this baby. That is just so... I
just can't believe it. I mean, it's true irresponsibility, you know. I mean, it's sad. I've heard people talking about it a lot.
Yeah,
It's really sad.
It is sad.
And, you know, I played, you know, I can't say I never touched a gun when I was a kid. I did, but I felt so guilty because I knew I wasn't supposed to be there.
Right.
You know, and when I did have a chance, we went way out in the country. Had the rifle, had my granddaddy's rifle. The first time I ever had a chance to touch it. First time I ever had a chance to use it. And we went out and we went shooting. You know, when I became an adult, I would go to the firing range. But I've always been taught to respect a gun. Respect the weapon, any weapon that you use.
The coroner is right, just carelessness. If you got a 1-year-old, and I'm not casting blame on anybody because I don't know the specifics of it. But all I know is a 1-year-old and an 8-year-old should not die.
No.
Because adults were not attentive to them or whatever the reason. And so we encourage you to, if you would like to contribute to the burial fund for this baby, make out your check to Bentley's. Wasn't that what the car? Bentley and Sons Funeral Home, and take it by there.
Montarius
Brown. And the name of the baby is Montarius Brown, 1-year-old. And I'm sure that his relatives, I'm sure the coroner, and we, of course, are thankful that you think enough of someone else to help out. And we're certainly going to do that as well. So our call-in number is 478-250-1444. Our very special guest is Mr. George Crawley. Of course, since it's between 3 and 4, you know that you've tuned in to Ask Elaine with your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas. Please share. And let others know that we're on the air. We've got about 15 more minutes to share this public information. So we want you to take part in whatever's going on in the community, but you've got to know about it. All right, George, we got 2 more things that we're going to do. One is, I said last week that the people have been asking me about healthy foods. Okay. And one of the things that we talked about last week was collards. And we found out that collards were just, as long as you don't put all that grease and salt in it, there are ways of making them taste delicious.
I want the fat bag. No,
do you really? No. Boy, I tell you.
I cook mine with turkey or chicken.
Yeah. My brother and his wife use turkey wings.
Yeah, turkey wings. Smoked turkey wings.
Mm-hmm. And I've tasted some delicious ones. Some
people just miss that grease, the grease and salt. That's what
they have to have a little. They scrape out.
Yeah, they miss that little, that little grease gives you.
But people are inventive and creative. They come up with some ways of making stuff taste is so good. But collards we found were very, very healthy for you. Very, very good as far as digestion and mental alertness and all kinds of stuff. So those who love collard greens like we do, continue eating them because they're good for you.
Good.
Now, today's subject that we're going to talk about is almonds.
Okay.
Almonds are really good for you as well.
I'm okay with almonds.
Almonds reduce cholesterol.
Okay.
That's one of the things. And according to the American Dietetic Association, consuming almonds was proven to increase your level of vitamin E in your red blood cells and also reduces your risk of having cholesterol.
So it's a vitamin E.
Vitamin E.
Okay,
it increases your level of vitamin E and reduces your risk of having cholesterol. Okay. Almonds are good for the heart.
Okay.
According to a study published in 2014, researchers found that samples in the study who consumed almonds have more antioxidants in their bloodstream, and this helped in reducing blood pressure and improved the flow of blood to various parts of the body. Okay. So almonds, good for the heart. Almonds help to regulate blood sugar.
Okay.
Almonds have high vitamin E, and we know that vitamin E is good.
It's good with dealing with that COVID too.
Yes. As a matter of fact, one of the things that my husband and I do now is I can't take all those big horse tablet pills, vitamins, so I get gummies.
Okay.
And so I take a multivitamin gummy, vitamin B.
Right.
Vitamin C, vitamin D, and then I use Airborne as well, which has zinc in it. So, and that has helped me to avoid, a lot of the sniffles and all of that.
Right.
So, for those who are fighting COVID and trying to stay healthy and fighting off flu, colds, whatever it is, then a good regimen, solid, consistent regimen of vitamin supplements will help.
Well, I think
as well.
Vitamin supplements and sunshine.
Yes.
Walk outside to your porch. Sit
Yes.
outside, let the sun hit your face.
Right.
That's a very good way to get vitamin E. It's natural.
That's right.
Yeah, and then make sure you eat hot meals too.
Yeah.
Because the lady last year when it started, she said, and it was funny, she was a nutritionist. And she said, COVID, she said, the first thing you're going to do, she lives down on Napier, in West Side Neighbors community. She said, dealing with this COVID, she says, George, I'm going to tell you what to do. She said, eat those, she says, get those vitamins and get that sunshine. And I said, sunshine?
Yeah.
She said, sunshine.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was amazing in November when Dr. Fauci came out and says, vitamin E. Vitamin E, sunshine, just like you said.
Okay. Willie Dumas says airborne is great. It is a good supplement, and especially with that zinc in it that helps you with fighting off colds. Shirley Lester says try using low sodium chicken broth when preparing collards and other vegetables.
I've tried that. It's really good.
And Lisa loves your input on Antioch.
Oh, thank you.
On that. So y'all are just wonderful. We love your comments. Thank you so much. Be sure to share so that your friends can have the benefit of the information. Go ahead, George.
I did want to remind everyone that we do have the initiative, and want to remind you also that Westside, we did start the initiative to reopen or locate a grocer over at the Kroger store, right up the street at 400 Pine on the Avenue. We're still waiting on word. We're waiting on the package deal. I think Seth Clark, Commissioner Virgil Watkins, Commissioner Paul Brunson, and the Mayor Miller are working together to create a package.
Great.
I think that'll be a package afterwards to try to bring more fresh groceries into the city.
Oh yeah.
But what we need right now is we need to be brought to the negotiation table with the industrial authority and others, so that we can sort of provide a what do you call it? A subsidy of some sort to make sure that we can sustain the store at this location. We have a couple. We have one tenant that we've already talked to, but we also have 3 possible tenants that we know of, but they have not been brought to the table by the city or the other different entities here. But but one of our biggest goals is to get that 15,000 square foot location occupied by a tenant, and then we want to talk possibly about creating a multi-use development on that little narrow path leading to the store to help supplement it. So, when you go to Atlanta and other places, the development is forward to the streets instead of so far back. One of the things that will assist in that location is making sure that we find a combination residential and commercial development leading into that center. Right. So not only do we have Mercer Building and back at the former Atlanta Mills, but we have a walkable, easily accessible community that people can leave. They can leave their homes over in Stanislaus Circle if they're on a golf cart, if they're in a wheelchair coming from the senior high rises there, and they can access fresh fruit, produce. They can get we're hoping to have a winery there, a small winery there. We're hoping to have other incentives. We also hope to have a community advisory board. So those are the things we're trying to put into that location, and we hope to have the opportunity to duplicate working with the commission and others together. But we haven't been given that full opportunity. So we're hoping that someone from the mayor's office calls us back and sets up.
Oh, they listen. They listen. That's to Ask Elaine. Mayor, I know Mayor Miller does. He listens to Ask Elaine.
We said so. This needle forward.
Yes. So he heard that.
About 15,000 folks.
But income. This is an example of how you organize, your community, and this can be a template or a guide for other community organizations to organize. And in addition to the services that you pay for that you get through the city and county, you also can supplement that through the community. Plus, everybody gets to know each other.
Right.
You get to look out for
Right.
each other. You
Right.
get to share in
Yes.
activities.
Yes.
So it just brings about, and then after COVID, once we, kind of people are going to want to get back together and do more. And just think, if your community is cleaner,
Yes.
you've built more friendships,
Yes.
it's going to be just a wonderful
Macon's
situation.
a great city. So
Macon is great.
we
Macon
deserve the
is
best,
great.
Nothing but the best.
All right. Thank you, Lachelle.
She says your
Stanley.
hair is pretty. She says your hair is pretty.
Oh, thank you.
That's a good one.
Thank you. That is good. Almonds have high vitamin E. Almonds reduce weight.
What?
That one,
Well, I
it
just have
says
some-
almonds have higher contents of
I
protein
don't have too
and
much.
fiber and lower levels of carbohydrates that curb your appetite and does not keep you craving for long. So that I'm all in for almonds.
I like almonds. I do.
Yeah, I
don't
use
like
them
almond
as a
joy.
snack.
I like almonds. Like roasted, like honey nuts.
Yeah.
I like almonds, but I don't like the almond joy. I don't like the little candy bar. Nah.
You don't. That's my favorite. Almonds are rich in nutrients. They're good for your eyes, y'all.
I need almonds.
They're a rich source of antioxidants that can protect you against stress. Almonds nourish the skin. Almonds prevent cancer, and that is one of those things. All of these healthy foods that we're talking about help to build your body to a point where you can resist bad cells.
I don't know. Sometimes people say, "I don't want any of that. I don't want that." I'm like, brother, why don't you want it? It's healthy. It means it's good. I said that's the first thing we need to be running towards.
That's right. That's right.
Said, keep yourself
because we are most unhealthy.
Right.
And then we won't go and get our vaccination.
No,
we are still lagging behind in getting the vaccine, and we should not be lagging behind. We should be running to get our appointment to get the vaccine.
People are afraid because of all the things that happened in the past.
Yes.
And I understand that it's some hesitation, but you know what? I was so proud. I'm going to say this. My brother was one of the trial participants for the COVID
really?
Vaccine. Yes.
Really?
No
that
symptoms.
You know what? We've got to express condolences to the Brown family. Desmond Brown lost his brother. Newly elected water board member Desmond Brown lost his brother in a tragic car accident. And so we want to express condolences to
R.L. Brown. Rest in peace, R.L. Brown. Central High School class of 88. We love you, brother. I think 87 or 88.
Almonds are best for treating anemia.
Okay.
Almonds are good for your nerves.
Yes.
So almonds treat acne and blackheads, and you can read more about this. You can just check 20 healthy benefits of almonds, facts, and frequently asked questions. And this will give you this the same information, and you can read more in depth about it. Almonds treat stretch marks. ladies. Oh my. Almonds prevent gray hair. Now, I don't know. Some of these we have to read some of that.
One there. I mean, how is that possible?
Anyway, that's some of the things in our time. We didn't get to do our Black History month trivia questions, but we'll get to them next week. George, we might have to have you to come back next week if you're available.
I am available.
All right. Well, let's do this again next week, and then we're going to do our trivia questions like who was the first Black governor of an American state? Was it Walter A. Gord, Archie Alexander, or PBS Pitchback of Louisiana?
Oh, I'm supposed to guess that one.
Yeah. Who is that? Pitchback is right.
Macon, right?
That's right. That's right. That's right. That is right. That's right.
I know a little bit.
Thank you, Ms. Goff, for tuning in. Thank you, Mr. Dumas, Ms. Stanley, all of you for tuning in with our special guest, George Crawley. He's going to join us again next week and tell us some more history.
Yes.
And also, we're going to have more of our Black History month, and we want you to call in and answer some of these questions. So our time is gone. Thank you, WDDO, for the opportunity to be here today. And so you tune in again next week for another edition of Ask Elaine. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's good seeing Pete on there.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 980 AM WDDO.